So in this video we are looking at methods of data collection to analyse factors impacting our performance. Split into 4 sections. The first one looks at the use of model performers. There are 3 questions that we want you to ask yourself. What is a model performer? Who is your model performer? We all had someone that we identified as being an appropriate model performer for ourselves in our second training programme when we were doing badminton, trampolining and table tennis. And we have to ask ourselves, why did we select them to be our model performer? There are 4 things that we can use a model performer for. That would be to be a motivational aid, a comparison tool, the basis of our data collection. So we are comparing ourselves to model performers when we use our performance profile, and they can be a means of feedback for ourselves. The second part of this video is about the application of those recognised tests that we use or the analytical tools to collect our data. The methods that we use to collect data before we make our training programme on our weaknesses to help identify those weaknesses can be split into recognised tests, so something that has a set routine, a set method that you have to follow, or an analytical tool, something that can be tailored towards the activity you're doing or the different role that you play within your team. We have to know a method of collecting data for each of our 4 factors. So for the mental factor, we completed a concentration questionnaire, which is an analytical tool. For the social factor, we completed a communication peer evaluation. Again, this is also an analytical tool. For the physical factor, we completed quite a few. You'll have quite a few examples that you can use from this year as well as from 4th year. We used a general observation schedule, a preparation, action, recovery analysis. Those who did trampolining completed a skills inventory. There is also the T-test as well as the vertical jump test. The last 2 are recognised tests because we follow the same procedure every single time when we compare our information, our data that we get to normative data. So a set of standard results for your age group across the nation. In the middle there we have performance profile written. Now that is because it is used for each of the 4 factors that we covered. You can adapt the performance profile to include sub-factors for each of the 4 factors. This is a very good one to talk about no matter which factor you are asked about in the exam. The next part is looking at the appropriateness of the methods that we use to collect that information. There's an acronym that we want you to think about, which is PAR-VM. Okay, so is it practical? Is it appropriate? Is it reliable? Is it valid? And is it measurable? Okay, we need to think about the information that we get from them. Is it suitable for the activity, the factor and the context that our information is being collected? Is it usable information? Is the information that we get really easy to interpret? And do we get qualitative and or quantitative information from that method that we use? Lastly, we're looking at feedback. Just a few things to think about. So the 2 types of feedback, intrinsic, so internal feedback, as well as extrinsic feedback you get from other people around you. We need to think about who gives us the feedback. Do we trust them and what they are saying? Do they have a lot of experience? We need to think about when, so the timing of that feedback. Is it given to us before sessions, throughout the session, or is it quite a while after the session or immediately after the session? And the level of detail that you get within that feedback. Is it just a well done, that was good, or that was rubbish? Do they give you enough specific information for you to be able to make changes to your performance? Miss Gallagher has drawn us a 2 stars and a wish. So 2 things that we've done well and something that you need to work on and how you're going to work on it. That's the ideal type of feedback to get.